Well. We finally know why the Real Housewives of New York City reunion was allegedly canceled. Okay, we had all heard these little things about, there's a delay, and now we know why. We're going to get into it right after this. What's going on, Skye Squad? We are back in the building, and we got to talk some news on this Good Friday afternoon, baby. Oh, we got to talk some news on this Good Friday afternoon, baby. Let me tell you. First of all, I want to shout out Perry Woodland for the super chat. I appreciate you. Before we even got started up in this jamboree, okay? We're going to talk about the Real Housewives of New York City reunion. I'm sending a little graphic to myself or something I want to show you guys. And we're going to also talk about Cynthia Bailey responding back to Nene Leakes with everything that Nene Leakes had to say with regards to, Cynthia not being able to attend certain events with regards to, Greg's passing. We're also going to be talking a little bit of Atlanta tea. Okay, so we got quite a few things to talk about, and I'm going to kind of try to get through this as quickly as possible because I am anticipating some, Potomac reunion news coming out. So I want to be ready to, gather myself to hopefully get this reunion trailer today. No word on if it is going to drop today, but my anticipation is telling me it's going to drop today. Okay. Unless they waiting until Monday because of this whole, situation that happened with Dorit yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what's about to happen, but we're going to get into the thing. Let me know in the chatterization where you are watching from. I appreciate you guys, for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? I want to also say yesterday I had an event. Shout out to Monique Samuels for inviting me to her Not for Lazy Moms event where we actually debuted my new company, Mirin. We are doing supplements, sea moss, organic greens, African mango drops, as well as an anxiety formula. This was such a nice event to be able to sort of do a little soft launch at and get some feedback from people. So I want to say thanks to her for inviting me to that. Now, with that being said, Isata's in the building with a super chat. Thank you so much from Silver Spring. I will be letting you guys know when we officially launch. It will be in the next couple of days, and I'm going to give you guys all the information as well as a 20% off discount code. Now, with that being said, okay, amen. Thank you, boo. We appreciate that. I love y'all so much for dropping your location down because I like to know where y'all watching from. So I'm looking over here at the chat as I'm talking. Now, let's go ahead and dive on into the business. The Real Housewives of New York City. As you guys know, this was one of the lowest rated seasons ever for a Real Housewives franchise, specifically really for New York City in general, okay? And there's been a lot of speculation about why that was, okay? Chime down in the chatterization if you tried to watch this season and if you tried to watch it and what your thoughts were about it. I know that I tried, and to be quite frank with you, even though my girl Bershawn was on this season and I wanted to support her as much as possible, I could not make it through the last 3 episodes, okay? So I don't even know what happened at the end. But what I do know from what I saw is that it just wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. And New York is typically funny, it's typically upbeat, it's typically very fast-paced. But they was filming in a panorama, and so they only had 5 housewives. And then what are we doing here without Dorinda? Okay, let's just put it like that. But anyway, there had been a lot of speculation about what happened with this whole reunion. Well, TMZ is now reporting that the reunion was canceled due to, an ongoing investigation into Eboni K. Williams' allegations of a race issue against Ramona Singer. Okay, she feels as though she was facing some racism, okay, from that good Ramona singer. Now, according to TMZ, multiple sources with direct knowledge of the situation tell them that Ebony filed a formal complaint against Ramona singer Stinger in the weeks leading up to that good reunion being filmed, okay? And when the investigation started and it began to proceed, apparently, or allegedly, I should say, Bravo ended up having to continue to push back the shoot date. Now, apparently TMZ has been told that the probe, okay, the inquiry was tasked with looking into an alleged comment that Ramona made that Ebony felt like was racially motivated, okay? Now, let's get into it even more, y'all. As part of this investigation, so let me hop back on here and let y'all know what I'm. Before we get into it, Bernice, thank you so much. Love you. Looking forward to all of your videos. Congratulations on your new business. I appreciate you, boo. Appreciate you. You've been riding for a long time, Linda Fauntleroy. Congratulations, Richie, on your new company. I'm so happy for you, babes. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Okay, y'all just pour into me so much, and I appreciate it. When we say formal investigation, okay, we talking about it's the equivalent. I mean, and I'm not making light of this. I'm just trying to give you guys some perspective of, okay, you got to go to HR now because you got this is a real issue. This ain't just I'm complaining about a person on this show. This is, yo, I'm really forming and lodging a formal complaint against you, okay, against you, lady, and I'm taking it all the way to the HR, okay. So it will be that type of equivalent of what's going on right here. So I'm just trying to give you guys the severity of the situation, right? To get back into it, apparently all the cast and production crew sat down for interviews, and ultimately Ramona was cleared because there was nothing found to corroborate her claims. Now, apparently, once the investigation was over, Bravo felt like it was too late to film a reunion because too much time had passed from the end of the season. And the source tells TMZ it was already a low-rated season, so there were concerns about who would tune into it, 3 months later. Now, for those of you guys who are interested in understanding more about this situation, it's also important to note that Ebony was not the only person to lodge a complaint against Ramona for race issues. Apparently, a crew member did the same prior to Ebony doing so, but apparently the alleged, whatever the alleged conduct was, apparently it continued, and that's why Ebony felt like it was pertinent for her to file a formal complaint as well, according to this. All right. Now the sources say that Ebony was allegedly satisfied with the investigation, but apparently she was upset over the reunion being scrapped. Okay. And she's basically, this is what TMZ is saying again, that she has unfinished business and that she's ready to come back for another season to confront the women. Now, here's what's also interesting about this situation, okay? Now, apparently, when you miss the reunion, y'all know you're missing some money, okay? Let me just state that. So let's break this thing down even further, and then we're going to move on to the next topic. But I want you guys to understand something, because when you miss a reunion, you are missing out on a bonus, okay? A significant, that you could call it a bonus, or you could call it just, additional, I'm not necessarily sure how they frame it for a reunion, but you can look at it in layman's terms like a bonus, right? And so if a reunion is 3 parts, that could be, a couple thousand G's, a couple of stacks right there. So TMZ is estimating that somebody like a Ramona and somebody like a Luann could have missed out on an additional $100,000 or so, right? So let's look at it in that perspective, right? If So this probably explains to me why when we talked about it last week, we talked about there being an allegation that Ramona, Luann, and Leah, who was so close to Ebony throughout the season, allegedly avoided Ebony when they came to Dave Quinn's book release party for that book, Not All Diamonds and Rose. So I'm assuming that if I'm putting the pieces together, they upset with her, okay, because they missing out on their reunion bump, okay, you know what I'm saying? That reunion coin, because Ebony was doing what she felt like was the right thing to do and filing a complaint against something that she felt like was done to her. I mean, listen, you can't. It ain't her fault that the network canceled it. I mean, she did what she needed to do. If she felt like there was an issue there, she was supposed to go and complain about it. Okay. But at the end of the day, okay, to be honest with you, I think that, Real Housewives of New York probably just needs a whole recast type situation. They need to reshuffle this show in some major way, because I just feel like after you go through an issue like this, it is going to be very difficult for all the ladies to come back and be on one accord. And that's just what I think, for real. If I'm an executive, I'm looking at the situation like, we're going to take a 2-year break, a hiatus, and what we're going to do is figure out how to reignite this show. Asata says, hey, Rich, I missed the original cast of The Real Housewives of New York, the OGs like Bethany and the others that were there before. Because, it was, I mean, listen, the OG days are always going to be some of the best days of Housewives. But, the OG days, and I thank you for that super chat, the OG days, listen, people could, a lot of people could probably say more problematic things back in the day and get away with it, i.e. a Ramona. But nowadays, people not letting somebody like that, get away with the things that they say that are problematic. And that's the reality of the situation. So, I mean, they're going to have to probably recast this show, in my opinion, and really upgrade it and really elevate it to a level where it's diverse. It captures the city of where New York is right now, and it moves the franchise forward. Okay. And I agree. You got to have, I mean, I wouldn't even mind them bringing back Dorinda. You know what I'm saying? And just like keeping her as kind of like the centerpiece of this new wave of New York and what it's going to be. All right, y'all. So we're going to move on to our next topic. Okay. We're going to move on to the next topic. And let's see where we're going from here. I would like to talk a little bit about, let's talk a little bit about Real Housewives of Atlanta, shall we? So we get a report from Urban Belle Mag, and this report from Urban Belle Mag is really focused on the new girls coming in on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay. And in that article, they point to this tweet right here from Real Housewives of Atlanta, and the Twitter account is at Bravo TV Real Housewives of Atlanta. So if you want to follow on Twitter, you can definitely do so. And I just wanted to pull this up for you guys right here. But apparently on the set of the Real Housewives, not the set, but on the, in the filming process of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, it's alleged that Kandi said that one of the newbies got into it with another new girl after their past friendship/relationship was brought up. Kandi said that she was shocked at how things escalated so quickly with these two ladies. Season 14 is starting off juicy. Okay. Now, I will say, they do give a disclaimer here. Also, if you're going to complain about potential spoilers, simply unfollow. Anything the girls put out there about filming, I do not consider a spoiler since they are under contract. So I wanted to give you guys that disclaimer as well. Please follow them on Instagram as well so you guys can get more juicy tea and updates as we continue to proceed. My thought is, and my question to you guys is, who do you think this is talking about? Because really, for real, there's only what? I mean, there's only Sonya Richards Ross that's new. There was light skinned Keisha, who we know was there. Okay. And then there was one of the Akon wives who could potentially be filming for as a friend role as well. So out of the three of them, I mean, are they going to be giving us Drew and LaToya type energy? I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know. Again, I'm here for a little bit of chaos and confusion, but again, it cannot be put on, right? It cannot be, it's got to be authentic. And so apparently, if one of the newbies got into it with a new girl after their past friendship relationship was brought up, I mean, who could it be? I mean, and how are we going to be interested in this? How are they going to make that interesting? Because here's the thing. I'm not really that interested in you when you knew, right? Unless you had an old friendship with somebody that was, an OG, an already established person on this franchise. If the new people are arguing over something that happened in their relationship, I mean, why do I care right now? Because y'all knew. I mean, and that's no shade to you. I want to get to know you first. Let me get to know you before you start beefing all explosively. You know what I'm saying? Because then that's not going to feel as organic as we want it to feel. You know what I mean? Asata says, I miss Mariah Huck. Thank you for that super chat. The Hit Squirrel says, let's remember Ebony has a lawyer background. Boom, boom, boom with that one. Okay. She got that lawyer background. A complaint is her first step to hold the racial comments accountable. Amen to that. Okay. Now, again, let's hope this isn't the case, Low-Keys. Low-Key says, new girls just be doing the most to be the most trending new chick on the show. Okay, let's just hope it ain't that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because I want, when we watch this show, I want it to feel, again, like I said, as authentic as possible, because that's what we're watching. You know what I'm saying? We want to see real drama, real friendships, relationships, real makeups to breakups. You know what I mean? So let's move on. Because there's more to talk about. Nene and Cynthia is the next topic. And when we talk about Nene and Cynthia, we're also going to talk a little bit about Nene and Cynthia and Kenya as well. So let's head over to the Neighborhood Talk. Shout out to the Neighborhood Talk for capturing this information. And also shout out to the Neighborhood Talk because they got the mention on the Daily Pop. When Justin was, it was Justin, it's Cynthia who's been doing some appearances on Daily Pop, as well as Lonnie Love pulling double duty on The Real as well as Daily Pop. They were having a discussion about, what it was that Nene had said about Cynthia being, not being able to make it to, one of the events after Greg's passing, right? So the Neighborhood Talk had captured this information. And, they talked about it with Cynthia being on the show. Now, apparently Cynthia had maybe done a couple of other spots. I'm not necessarily sure. But obviously this is going to come up and people are going to ask her about it since her name was brought up. And she's going to respond to it. Now, one of the things that Cynthia said, thank you so much for that. One of the things that Cynthia said was, the quote here posted by the Neighborhood Talk says, I was honestly surprised. I know Nene is still mourning the loss of her husband. So she's saying that these statements from Nene caught her by surprise. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to play it here because obviously that content belongs to E! News, or the E! Network, I should say. But what I will say about what Cynthia said in response to this was basically that, for her, she could not make it to the event in question, right? She could not make it to the event in question, but she was actually even more glad that she made it to the event that she did make it to, which was the celebration of life. So she was able to really or was it? It was another event. Whatever it was, she was able to spend some quality time with Nene at the Lenithia Lounge. She said they had hookah together. She said that they had drinks together, and really, it was important for her to, spend some time with Nene out of respect for Greg and to just have that moment in time with her. And she said that it turned out great. So it's interesting that she is now seeing the things that Nene is saying. But for her, she says that, because I know that Nene is still mourning the loss of her husband and the toll that grief can take on someone. Really, I feel like Cynthia is just taking the high road on this, and she is just going to let that situation die, which is what she should do in this situation. Because again, I feel like, again, y'all know I love Nene, but I also know that Nene, she says whatever she feels. And sometimes this is why I talk about feelings and emotions. And I guess I should say I feel like Nene was talking out of emotion. But I feel like when you talk based on how you just how you really, really feel about a situation, which takes a lot more thought and, a lot more clarity. I just think that Nene was talking about how she was, feeling it inside emotionally and not really coming from the place of being nasty. But I just felt like it didn't come across the best. But I think that Cynthia, who is not going through the stages of grief, has the foresight enough and the maturity enough to step back from the situation and say, listen, this woman is going through it. I'm not coming back at her with anything in this situation. And I'm just kind of trying to let this situation ride. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And I feel like that's why she is who she is. And I think that blessings will always come to her because of that stance. You know what I mean? And she not on the show no more. So she don't have to have no type of drama or no beef with nobody, because now she's able to move in a state of peace and just do the things that she wants to do. And clearly she's getting some gigs, being booked and busy. So I think that's a great way to handle the situation, with as much care and sensitivity as possible, right? But I want to move on to something else, because not only has Cynthia faced a shift in relationships with Nene Leakes, and that situation continues, I see, to have ebbs and flows, so too does her relationship with Miss Kenya Moore, for whom she will be starring on The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip when it comes to Peacock TV later this November. So at the end of November, you guys know we will have, obviously, Potomac will be ending, but we will have Portia's Family Matters, and we will have Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. I think we're going to get the first 2 or 3 episodes on Peacock the first day that it does premiere. But I want to talk about something that occurred with the two of them. And we've talked about this before, but really looking a little bit deeper into this, one of the things that, Reality Blurb is pointing out that Cynthia said on Access Hollywood, which she says that, and this is with regards to the tension between her and Kenya that happened on the girls' trip. And I want you guys to listen to what she had to say. She says, I did not anticipate that my friend that I was going with on the trip, that we were going to have some issues when talking about Kenya Moore. She says that she felt disrespected by one of the cast members without mentioning Kenya's name directly. But, of course, we just have to kind of speculate at this point. She says, we had a real conversation. We have talked since then, and we have had some conversations, and those conversations was good. But here is where I want you guys to really pay attention. She says the dynamic of the friendship has definitely changed since the trip, but there will always be love there. I take accountability for the fact that I'm not always vocal as I should be in friendships when people do things that I don't like. So obviously she's kind of admitting that she's not always the first person to confront something. But the thing about it that I found so interesting was that she says the dynamic of the friendship has definitely changed since the trip, but there will always be love there. And I didn't pick up on that when she was initially doing press rounds to talk about this situation, but I definitely picked up on it when I read that statement in print, because that tells me that y'all not on the same page no more. Okay? And that to me is fascinating, because from what we got from Kenya, in interviews has been a little bit of a different take on the situation. Okay. Kenya's take on the situation is this. Um, you know, Kenya told Page Six, she says, that is a woman that I love, that I cherish her friendship. And no matter what little things we go through when filming, that's not really my world. Now, Kenya also echoed those sentiments on the Jasmine brand during an interview that she did with her just about either earlier this week or last week, I think it was. You guys can check out the Jasmine brand for that. I'll actually try to place it in the link in the description down below so you guys can actually, watch that and see. I'm just putting pieces together from different interview clips, and I'm thinking to myself, and I'm having to ask myself, what is truly that friendship looking like as of now? Because it seemed as though those two ladies were thick as thieves. Although there were moments where we've seen them have during filming for the seasons where they've kind of had some moments of tension. It's interesting now that, Cynthia is not going to be on the show this coming season. And now that she's filmed Ultimate Girls Trip and she's had this sort of, tense moment with Kenya, she's indicating that the friendship isn't the same. So that's just something else to kind of notice, that as Cynthia is exiting this franchise, that some of these friendships and relationships that she's had have become, it seems, slightly more, just a little bit different. Do I believe that they're fine? Absolutely. I believe that they're okay. But I'm just noticing something that Cynthia said that I just found to be interesting. If I have an argument with my friend and we're truly okay, then I'm just going to simply say, y'all, we fought. Yeah, that wasn't nothing. We had a little moment right there and that's it, as friends do. But when you start to say that the nature of the friendship has changed, that actually does lead me to question things. You know what I'm saying? So we'll just have to see how things continue to move forward and wish the best for them. Wish the best for Cynthia as she moves into her new season. And we got to wait and see what comes of Kenya's new friendships as she enters this season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Listen, that is all the news that we have for y'all today, or at least for right now. Hopefully this Potomac reunion trailer will come out and we will come back on the channel. We will have another discussion about what we've seen in the trailer, who's really giving it, who's bringing it, who, is firing back at Nikki, if anybody. So we're going to see how things progress with that if they do drop that trailer, which they typically do around 1 p.m. on Fridays. But again, they could surprise us and pull we're not gonna give y'all the reunion trailer till next Monday. Regardless, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Text me, send me a text message to join the texting community. We have fun on this channel. We do a lot of speculation. We will do some conjecture and some commentary. So take some of this with a grain of salt as well, because we just like to have fun talking about reality TV shows and the stars that we love. So with that being said, guys, I will catch you in the next video.